Hey everybody, this is a quick video review of Masmorra Dungeons of Arcadia for solo play. Now, Masmorra has gotten kind of lukewarm or negative reviews, but I find it's a very, very good game for solo play, depending upon what you're looking for. So let's talk about it. So let's start by thinking about where Masmorra might be a disappointment if you were looking for something different than what it is. If you were looking for a campaign style game such as Gloomhaven or Descent, well, Masmorra is not that. It's more like the one-shot dungeon crawler. If you're looking for the characters to have weapons that you add as you search for them or add to them, such as maybe Arcadia Quest or Massive Darkness or Zombicide, that's not that kind of the game. You're not going to be adding weapons or anything to your characters. Although each character does have the ability to level up, and so they can change the things that they can do. And even though the characters can be used with Arcadia Quest, it's not the same kind of game. So if you're thinking it's the same as Arcadia Quest, maybe that's a problem for people. I do know that a lot of people have complained about the dice, the monsters being dice as opposed to miniatures. But if you're thinking that this game, because it's from CMON, is just about miniatures, that's not what this is. But the dice are really nice. They're very high quality dice, and the monsters are easy to read. You've got nice player aids that make it very easy to see what the monsters are and what their abilities are. It's really nice touch. And the dice quality is certainly as nice as any tokens or standees. So they're, in my opinion, they're very good. The heroes are miniatures. They are very well done, and there's 5 of them in the game. The other thing is, when you play it the first couple of times, and especially if you're playing true solo, it may seem, especially at the beginning of the game, that the character is too powerful. They can have very strong treasure cards, and they've got special abilities you can level up fairly quickly. However, you can easily modify the difficulty of the game by playing multiple characters. That affects the difficulty by reducing the number of rooms that you have to go through, because you won't level up that quickly before you're at level 2 in the dungeon. In addition, for the dice, you can reduce the number of dice that you roll. So there's any number of ways that you can actually affect the difficulty of the game. But if the game seems too easy, you're probably also forgetting to respawn monsters every turn. So don't forget that. The rulebook is nice and pretty, but some have considered that there's some rule issues that you have to figure out, but I don't think it's any more than any other dungeon crawling type of game. Often you have to figure out the rules, and maybe there's some inconsistencies. Perhaps the biggest issue is how the boss in the 3rd level, and for the Epic game and the Alliance game, and I believe he's called Malaphius. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, but how he actually behaves is kind of a question, especially in the Evil Throne Room. So there's some discussion on that on Board Game Geek. My understanding of this is that when he is in the blue side of the token, he spawns a major monster at the start of every combat, and the room limits are ignored. Then when he's in the throne room, before each hero phase, he spawns a major or minor monster and ignores room limits. When he's blue, he also shoots the Grim Bolts, but when he's red, he doesn't. So that's my understanding of how he works, and that's probably the most confusing point of all of the game rules. The final negative thing that I'll mention is that some of the female characters are a bit scantily clad, and so I don't personally like that, and you may not like that if you're thinking of it for a family type of game. Oh, I forgot to mention, there is one other thing that you might find objectionable and might mean that you don't want to get this game, and it's got a card that says Damnation on it, and I personally found that very objectionable and very disappointing, but wanted to make sure that you knew that. So who is it that might like this game, and what's it really like? Well, if you want something that has a beautiful artwork on the tiles, great component quality, and is a dice chucker with dice mitigation, this is a great game. The small rooms have a number of different styles. They've got traps, they've got treasure rooms, spawning rooms, You got some healing rooms, a teleportation room, and some stairs. So they're really nice, multiple instances of each of these, so they're really nice. There's a lot of variety in the medium tiles, so they're really, really beautiful and fun to play with. And finally, there's the level 3 for defeating the boss. So if you're playing solo, you'll play on this is the throne room, but this is double-sided tile. And so this is the second side. Again, there's not a ton of variety, so there's not a lot of level 3 tiles. So it is a one-shot that you play the same kind of scenario over and over again. It's not a multiple scenario type of game. So what is the essence of this game like? Essentially, it's a dice mitigation game. So you have an evil card that will be changing every single turn that affect the kinds of things that you can do. And you'll be fighting the different monsters that have the classic defense and attack. Then you will roll your dice. You actually get to roll them twice. And they have things like shields, swords for melee, range, attack. Then you've got some magic that allows you to be doing part of that mitigation, which is you can turn one dice into another. You've got potions for healing, and also the potions and the magic can be used as range attack for different monsters, so there's variety in the different monsters. Finally, you also have this step that allows you to move. And so your different abilities allow you to turn different dice into different actions. You also have treasure cards that can boost your attacks and give you defense. So fundamentally, during the game, you're trying to decide, how do I want to use my dice? And you get to roll twice. And so one of the questions is my dice combination right now good enough, or should I chance it and roll certain other dice? So for example, maybe I have a shield and that'll protect me, but maybe I need more attack. So do I give up my shield in order to try to get another attack? Each character has its own natural ability, and here's the special abilities, and you can see that all of them are quite a bit different, and they focus on different types of die. Algus, for example, if you get magic, that's really helpful, whereas Jay, he's turning swords into range attack. And Valerie over here seems to be really good with the potions. So fundamentally, it's all about how can I arrange and change my dice in order to defeat the enemies. So that's Masmorra, Dungeons of Arcadia. If you want to know a little bit more about how the game plays, I have a play-a-turn video. It's not a full playthrough, but it just plays a turn or so to show you what it's like to actually play. And of course, you can check out other videos to see playthroughs. If you're looking for a dungeon crawler where you're rolling a lot of dice and you actually have dice mitigation, this may be the game you might check out. However, if you are looking for a game where the monsters are all miniatures, or you want something just like Arcadia Quest or a campaign, this is definitely not the game that you want. And if some of the artwork is objectionable to you, or that tile that has the word damnation, that can be objectionable to you. Beware. From a gameplay perspective, I really, really like this game. I think this is probably my favorite in terms of the gameplay for the dice rolling and mitigation. And in fact, I've thought about creating my own cards to modify Massive Descent and some of the Dungeons and Dragons dungeon crawlers to use that same kind of style of rolling the dice. So my review on this game is it's an excellent game, excellent gameplay, with the caveats of make sure you know what you're looking for and be aware of some of the things that you might find objectionable. But other than that, it's in terms of the gameplay, it's a great game, I think, and the component quality and the art style itself. So I hope that was helpful in deciding whether Masmorra is the game for you.